Greetings and welcome to the latest video from the Hockey Guy. Now, again, I do daily videos. I do multiple videos every day. I've done multiple videos every day for over a year. It's never been a problem. So, for anybody who's going to make the comment of, oh, take a break, not going to happen. Even during the summer. Now, something else I want to mention at the start of this is that I've started to notice that on certain videos, people are saying, you don't cover this team, you don't cover this team. Here's the issue with that. So let's say I say, oh, okay, I'm going to start covering that team. Fan base of another team says, well, wait a minute, you're not covering this one either. Hey, wait a minute, you're not covering this team. Hey, look over, you're not covering this team. So then I'm in a position where I am simply doing the videos that people are telling me to do, rather than doing the videos that I want to do. The content slips. My passion for this pretty much drops through the floor. And then instead of just, having fun videos I do for you guys and for everybody, it becomes, okay, I have to cater to this base, and I have to cater to this one. The one thing that I've noticed for hits is that the general videos, the ones where I talk about every team, get a lot more attention than the ones where I talk about one specific team. So there's that. And I have to take all this into consideration, especially as the channel's growing and there's been a lot of attention lately, so I got to make sure I'm doing videos that cater to certain people, sure, but I have to balance it all out, and I'm doing my best to do so. Now, I've come up with 11 stats that I picked up off NHL.com that I thought were surprising for this past season. And they're stats that if you follow the team, you're like, oh yeah, I know. But for people who maybe just follow the league casually, maybe you're not into every team. All right, so the 11 most surprising stats from this past season. And number 11, I'm going with the team that missed the playoffs, and the stat that caused them to miss the playoffs. Dallas's penalty kill was 30th in the league at 73.9%. I was talking about Kari Lehtinen, and somebody said, well, Kari Lehtinen had one of the best save percentages 5-on-5. Yeah, but if you can't make a save on the penalty kill, it really doesn't matter. It was pretty automatic. Dallas would take a penalty and be like, all right, here comes a bad goal, and there's the bad goal. So Dallas missed the playoffs. If they can get this penalty kill fixed, they make the playoffs. No doubt in my mind. Number 10. Ottawa's on the board here. Their goals for per game, they were 22nd at 2.51. So last year going into the season, I talked about how their offense wasn't great. I didn't think they were a playoff team based on their offense. And their offense didn't get them there. They actually allowed more goals than they scored last year. So it is unusual for a team that allowed more goals than they scored to do as well as Ottawa did in the postseason. So, well, it happens once in a while, but not very often. Number 9, I'm going to use the shortened form of Philly. Because this one kind of surprised me. They were number 7 in shots against per game at 28.5. So, again, if Philly can get their goaltending going, if Philly can get their goaltending working properly, if Elliott's the answer, they should make the playoffs. That's what this list is me looking and going, well, geez, if these teams put up these kinds of stats next year, they should do a lot better. This one may not surprise people, and there's a stat coming up after this one, so Penguins fans don't need to be upset yet. The Penguins' goals against average was number 17 at 2.79. Now, as I said, don't get upset. I'm not talking about their goaltending, because again, Pittsburgh. Shots against per game. They were 27th. They allowed 32.6 shots against per game. When I talk about their defense being equal to Nashville's in the final, I just mean that they brought their defensive game to the final. During the season, it was mixed results. And they can't really afford to repeat this stat this year, because gravity eventually takes over if you're allowing that many shots per game. Because that's a lot of pressure to put on a goaltender. It is. Any goaltender. Even Curtis Joseph would have been like 32.6 per game? Really? This is also one that has two numbers to back it up. This is goals against per game. The Kings were number 6, 2.45. Now, this is for people who say, okay, well, this is because Budaj was really, really good. Budaj was amazing. And I got that a lot. But there's a stat that also explains why Budaj's numbers were really good. He played well. I don't think I've left myself enough room for everything. So, they allowed the least shots against per game at 25.9. 25.9 shots against per game. So they were allowing almost 7 shots less per game than the Penguins. And their goals against was a .34 difference. So yes, Budaj was good, but their defense was really good. The Kings, and again, and I said this, if they had Jonathan Quick in that all year, there's a chance the Kings jump in and get that number 8 playoff spot. Because Jonathan Quick facing only 25 shots a game likely saves 23 every game, and you're going to the playoffs. That's a .920 save percentage. Number 4. And again, if you're a fan of a team on this board, you're like, I already knew all this. The number 1 power play in the league last year was Buffalo. Their penalty kill was abysmal. If Buffalo can keep up that power play and fix other parts of the team without hurting that power play, you got something to look at. You got something you can say, yeah, these guys are damn good. The Winnipeg Jets. I took some heat for saying that the Jets should contend for a playoff spot. And even in my Jets preview, I've said, man, I hate to put them at 6th. And I hate putting them at 6th. And this is why. They scored 3 goals a game. They were number 7 offensively last season. Their goaltending was the issue. If Steve Mason can give them average goaltending, and there's a Philly stat here that says, hold your horses. But if Mason can play better for Winnipeg than he did for Philly, who limited shots against on him, and they still missed the playoffs, Winnipeg can contend for that playoff spot. They have to keep that offense up. But look, Laine's going into his 2nd season. What are the odds that their offense isn't going to get better with Patrick Laine going into his 2nd season? Of course there's a chance it could get worse. Of course there's a chance he could only score 20 goals. But it's not bloody likely. It really isn't. And the same team gets spots 2 and 1. So this is a big old Florida fest. Because Florida, despite their season being as poor as it was, they had the number 2 penalty kill in the NHL. And not only that, the impressive thing for Florida they averaged 32.2 shots per game. So this is one of those wacky things Their penalty kill was great. They took tons of shots on net. Their actual conversion of those shots on net was the issue. Florida fixes their attack a little bit, keeps that penalty kill up. Florida makes the playoffs. So those are some of the surprising stats that I found on the NHL website. That's just going through the charts, sorting everything out, and going, hey, look who's where. And some teams that missed the playoffs had some decent stats. They just didn't have the breaks. So let me know what you guys think. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.